Hi, and welcome to the Green Room. The first time that we get to do it in person, which is amazing.
Yes.
Hannah Babbitt, my favorite moderator. Sam Fischer, our guest.
Hey, yo.
Lynn Ianni, my favorite therapist. Is that how I say it, Lonnie?
No.
How do you say it? No, that's actually amazing. How do you say it?
It's not an L, it's an I, so it's Yanni.
Yanni.
Yes.
I always, you know what's funny? I've known you for so long, and I always thought it was Lonnie.
Really?
Did you know her name?
No, I know it's like,
Lonnie,
but
talk about this.
but it's no.
We have issues.
Honestly, I know she was like, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. No, okay. Lynn Yanni, and she's amazing. This is actually your third one, right?
Yes.
So thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having
And
me.
this is amazing now that we actually get to touch each other, which is awesome.
I know.
You guys are
Crazy.
both wearing green.
Crazy.
So Hannah, do you want to take it off?
Absolutely. Welcome to the Green Room. Introing Jenna Andrews, platinum singer, songwriter, vocal, and executive producer for artists such as Drake, J-Lo, BTS, Little Mix, Benny, Noah Cyrus, just to name a few. Jenna recently co-wrote and vocal produced BTS's smash hit Butter, the #1 record on the Hot 100 for 2 weeks running.
Wow.
Jenna is also the co-owner of 27 Music Publishing with Barry Weiss and Sony ATV. Welcome, Jenna.
Hannah, that was amazing. Love you.
I'm in person.
Yeah, you're in person.
That was so good.
That was so good. We love to see it.
Next up, we have Dr. Lynn Yanni. Dr. Lynn is a licensed psychotherapist at a private practice in California who works with individuals, couples, and families. She has been a therapist on numerous television series and a frequent guest expert on TV news and social media platforms. Welcome, Dr. Lynn.
Yay!
Dr.
Including the
Lynn.
green room now.
Yes. I
Boom.
feel like a veteran.
That's on the resume.
It's very cool.
And
Last but not least.
last but certainly not least, we have Sam Fischer.
What's up?
Australian-born Sam Fischer first introduced himself with Not a Hobby EP and has garnered incredible attention through his soulful voice and heartfelt lyrics. Touring North America with his friend Louis Capaldi, he wowed crowds with his incredible personality and pure love and talent for songwriting. Sam's debut single,
love
This
it.
City, is currently sitting on over 500 million worldwide streams and was top 20 in the
Wow.
UK for 11 weeks. The track has gone double platinum in Australia, platinum in the UK, and gold in the US, New Zealand, and Switzerland. While the global pandemic stopped him from touring with his pal Niall Horan, it hasn't all been bad news for Sam through lockdown.
Oh my goodness.
As he managed to release a song, What Other People Say, with global superstar Demi Lovato, and has released a summer hit, Pick Me Up, with Sam Phillip. He also has had incredible TV performances on Ellen, Jimmy Kimmel, and The Late Late Show with James Corden. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you so
Yes!
much.
Sam, you
Oh,
are
what an
like-
introduction.
It's like amazing to hear you do it because every time it makes you feel so much better about yourself, which is like honestly kind of
It
why we're
is.
here, right?
That's
I
building.
know.
It's like nice to hear a highlight reel read to you,
I know.
Yeah.
but it's also kind of like it's
Intimidating.
confronting
It is confronting. I mean,
in the best way.
in the
but-
best way. I mean, here's the thing. It really is why we do this, right? Because in a way, we're
Absolutely.
all like our worst enemies. Like I'll just say I love to hate myself. So at the end of the day, when you hear somebody say good stuff, you're like, oh, that's me.
I guess.
She's talking about me. She's talking
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I love to hate I don't love hating myself.
See, what do you feel? Then how do you? What would you call it?
I think it's self-preservation. This is hilarious. Right now, if anyone can hear that, that was like a whole
Yeah, there is
dirt bike.
so
It was
many.
a four-wheeler coming through. It was a
They-
whole crew.
They probably heard what we were
Um,
saying, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna interrupt this
Yeah,
because
yeah,
this
they
is not
said
healthy.
No, it's about self-love. I think it's like self-preservation. I think it's
Right.
like I'm self-deprecating and I like
Right.
play myself down because I've been told a lot in my life that I'm arrogant because
Really?
because of success. I think
That's
I don't know,
interesting.
it's
Because of
just kinda-
success or before?
I think that being Australian and like I love Australia. I have a lot of Australian pride, but the culture is very tall poppy syndrome, which is
Okay.
when poppies grow quite tall, they get chopped down and
Oh,
all that.
wow.
So I have just kind of learned to, I don't know if it's dulling my shine, but it's just, my manager says a lot to
I like
step into
that.
my stardom, and having success through the pandemic has been hard to do that
Yeah.
because it's all been happening around the world and fast, and I've been in my apartment.
Well, it
so-
wasn't all bad.
No, it was great. It was
according to your
fantastic.
intro.
But this is my inner battle. Is like It's all very like bittersweet because I haven't been able to experience, I don't know, we're in music, having a hit song, and like here I am with my air quotes, even though like I guess it is a hit song. Having a hit song is so unbelievably rare.
Right.
And having it at a time when I couldn't go out and enjoy it, in the sense of like seeing people sing it back to me, like tour, all those things that you said that I couldn't do.
It's crazy. I mean,
It's
I
crazy.
relate because during quarantine was like, basically my best year.
Your breakout.
Yeah, my breakout.
Super
biggest
Lonely.
song, Super Lonely.
Yeah.
And it was like, I know that we talked, what was it, like around like April, May, I think. Like we were both like, oh my gosh, like we're both experiencing something that we've been wanting and, for so long and working so hard for. For you, obviously, as an artist, the touring aspect was massive.
Huge.
For me, it was like, I couldn't hear it on the radio, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, cool. Like, all of a sudden, the song's a hit, but you're like, I've actually never heard it out before. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know that it's a hit. I just watch it on
That's
the
it.
chart. You know
That's
what I mean?
it.
How do you celebrate
it.
that moment when you've waited so long and all you can do is look around the four walls around you?
Totally.
I mean, that's exactly the point, is that I think that you appreciate it and you're
You
grateful.
have a shot.
Yeah, literally.
take a
have
shot.
You have a shot.
You watch an episode of like The Office and then you go to bed.
Literally,
I don't
exactly.
know.
I mean, or you can honestly, like, talking to your friends really help. You know what I mean? Like, or
Absolutely.
your family, or people
Right.
that are like, oh my God, you've been working really
Yes.
hard and you deserve
It's
this,
great, but at the
you know?
same
Yeah.
time, like, I am glad I had people like you to lean on because
I love that.
a pandemic happening once every 100 years.
Yep.
So crazy.
So it was like there wasn't really people who could relate to this kind of thing.
I,
So it was like
especially the music, like, especially
in the
for us.
in the music industry. So it was, it was different.
Well, for us, knowing each other through like the journey so much, I think made it even more powerful because it happened to both of us, and so we were like, oh
Yeah.
my God. But anyway,
You know what? We did it, but we're not here
we
to talk
did it.
about
We're
that.
here. We're here. We're
We
grateful.
said we're so great.
But I also think you brought up a
Like,
good point.
Yeah.
We kind of create our family.
100%.
Sam was saying he's so grateful he
Oh, I
has
love
you.
that. I
I was so
love
grateful
that.
I had you, and
Oh,
I
I
think
love
we
that.
kind of create our own family, which leads into today's topic.
Wow, that's the
Wow.
moderator
We
for
love to
ya.
see that.
I know.
So actually, like, another point I was gonna say on top of the family thing is when you were saying in terms of like, not necessarily feeling worthy or whatever you were describing, or even like the fact that people think you're arrogant or whatever, like those things, you play into that because of your formative years, I think.
Okay, there's
Okay,
one
hold on,
little
Lynn.
caveat. I'm like excited to talk about this because in a way you were saying like, how do you celebrate yourself without being arrogant? You have to celebrate twice in a way because, and either way, if you do it in like allow yourself to validate your own process as well as the gift that you sort of created, it's separate from you. It came through you, right?
Yeah.
It's like having a child almost, but then it's its own separate thing. So you can like be excited about that all day long because at the moment that you release it, it belongs to the world.
100%.
So you get to go
Absolutely.
like, I am so psyched that I did that. That is really cool. And
That
I
is
like
crazy.
it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even mean that you, like separately, you did an amazing thing.
Right.
But it's also amazing in and of itself. So it's not like you're being arrogant when you say, I like what I did, let alone I enjoyed what I did.
Totally.
And there it is. There's the validation. Like, I'm so
Totally.
proud of me.
And that makes so much sense, and yet,
And yet?
it's so hard to like step into that mentality when, for me, I grew up. There's a lot of shame around, just in my surroundings. A lot of shame in doing music and going for something that wasn't necessarily like the politically correct job to the
Choose.
dream to choose, and so.
Oh wait, I have a question.
What?
I have a question.
Okay.
You said that, but I have to go ahead and ask you this. Do you feel that part of that was through, obviously your parents, your family not supporting you in what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, like-
whatever you feel comfortable at.
Totally. My dad and I don't have a great relationship. We just met,
Oh,
so
yes.
we're learning. I'm telling you, kind of a crash course in the shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad and I, we don't have a great relationship. We don't have a relationship, and I think he created a bit of a culture of a shame culture, where being someone who is very extroverted and flamboyant and has a big personality and I like the limelight. I like this, I'm on stage, I'm a singer, I'm a performer. That's what I do. That's what's in my blood. And I think it was very, I don't know, it just wasn't celebrated as hard as I wish it had.
I'm so
been.
excited.
Come on, let's do it.
All right. So, do you know why he did that? Do you know what he was really feeling? Because when he generated that kind of conversation with you that made you feel ashamed, what was he feeling? What was that about for him?
I mean, maybe he was projecting something.
He was terrified.
I'm sure he was.
See, so he dealt with his fear by handing it to you in a way that was trying to shape your behavior in a way that somehow would protect him or what he was afraid would happen to you. And that has nothing to do with your arrogance or your confidence, really, or your gifts. It just has to do with his stuff that he hasn't worked out yet. And when you don't personalize it, then you don't have to convert it into shame. You can just go, no thanks.
100%. I totally agree with you. I think it's hard when you realize your parents are human
Oh my God.
and they're not superheroes, and the whole
It's a very good point.
mystery, the mysterious glow that parents have before you realize that they're just people trying to get through life as best they can.
The facade melts.
The facade melts.
Early.
I mean, yeah. And I was 8. My parents aren't together. My mum is my hero. She's the strongest person in the world. But she went through it. A divorce is really heavy, and I think when the superhero light fades, and you kind of look at your parents as who they are,
Yes.
and you kind of make a decision whether that person is someone that you still have unconditional love for. And we grow up in this society where it's like you must respect and have unconditional love for your parents.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of got to a point where just as my dad chose himself when he left, I had to choose myself. And the right choice for me was kind of cutting ties with my dad. Because
Which-
it wasn't doing well
wow.
for me.
If that feels healthy for you and you feel better with the distance, the relationship being distant like that, that's great. However, I would invite you to consider that if you want to be free from that negativity and the dysfunction and all that toxicity, the fix is like not to continue to have a relationship with him, but just to say no thank you. And weirdly, if you forgive him, you move past him.
Right.
And that
wow.
is because you deserve that level of peace to make that choice, right? And it doesn't mean that you want to maintain a closer relationship or anything, but it gives you the capacity to grow so far beyond him that you stop recreating his mistakes and you learn from them,
Sure.
right?
How do
So
you
you
get
don't
to that
hold on to
point,
your
though?
rage. How do you do it?
How do you get to that point?
Yeah.
You
that's-
literally,
How
it's
do
a
you get to that
choice.
point?
You recognize that you don't do it because they deserve it necessarily. You do it because you deserve peace. So it's like, I choose to forgive you. I recognize you did the best you could, as shitty a job as that might be, with the
Right.
information you had. I don't want to continue to recreate this, so I'm going to let that go, which puts it in the rearview mirror instead of inside you. You hand it back.
Sure. I mean, that all makes so much sense.
I mean, but I was thinking about a song that
Yeah.
Sam recently wrote, and it's about, I think, obviously you can explain it, but you said that like your dad has not met you in the last 8 years, which I
Yeah.
thought was a pretty isn't that
Powerful,
crazy?
really powerful.
Actually, just give me
Yeah,
saying
it's
that. I really did.
But the
describe-
song, yeah. So the last time I heard my dad's voice was, I guess, 8 years ago.
Wow.
My wife has met my dad it was 30 minutes in Sydney 8 years ago. And when my dad and I communicate now, the conversation will always begin with, if I reach out to my dad, it's nice of you to talk to me. And I'm like, wait a minute, like,
Yeah.
you're the parent here. I know that I'm, pushing 30, but like, you're still the parent. You're still the one who should take responsibility for what you
100%.
have done. And maybe if you wanted, I don't know, I feel like if you wanted a relationship, you'd try pretty hard to have a relationship with someone.
He's too damaged or
He's
broken.
damaged, he's
Yeah.
broken, he's out living his life. And look, like, I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what he's been through. I don't know what changed to make him kind of leave the life that he had built with us as a family. And like, look, people cheat, people have affairs, they do that thing. I don't care. Like, I mean, I care. When it comes to my dad, he's human. I've forgiven that part. What for me is unforgivable is the lack of effort to try and have a relationship with your kids, who are all leading these very interesting lives. And for me, it sucked that the first time I heard from my dad after a couple of years was when he heard my song on the radio in Canada, where he lives now.
Wow.
And it
How
just
did he respond?
He said, I heard you on the radio. Sammy, I heard you on the radio. Sounds like you're doing well. And I was like,
That's what he.
it took me getting on the radio for you to hit me up. But, you know, it's rough.
Yeah.
And I like laughed through it. But it sucks. But going back to the song, I was thinking about who I am in my dad's mind.
Yes.
Because the person that he knows is a person from 8 years ago, probably longer than that, because 8 years ago we spent 30 minutes together. So the last time we were really together was probably a solid like 10. And 18, 19-year-old Sam is a completely different person
Of course.
to now.
Right. But your dad's not
So-
different. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when he talks to you in that way that invites you to feel shame,
Mhm.
he's really talking to himself. So it's almost like an iceberg, but like same size top and bottom.
Mhm.
If he's overtly blaming you or judging you, it means that's the level of self-criticism that he carries every single day. And he can't manage it enough to flip it around and just say, you're okay, I'm okay, we're just flawed like everybody else in the world. He
Absolutely.
doesn't have the capacity, which is sad. And then, instead of trying to create that unconditional love, which is probably not a reasonable expectation of you,
Mhm.
you can look at him with compassion and still be, you know, grieving what
Oh
you
my
wished
God.
he'd be. What, sweetie?
That's such a crazy thought. You're so right about that. Like the fact that like, because I was thinking like, in my head I was like, you know, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this.
Don't worry.
I can go for it.
I don't know what you're
Okay,
gonna
okay,
say.
okay. I was saying that like you said that you haven't cried in like 9 years, and I
Oh,
feel like
yes, let's
and,
do it.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
talk.
I know.
Let's
I
talk
know,
about
I know.
that.
But like to me, I feel like I wanted, and as you were saying that, like in terms of him having compassion and maybe like, you know, the thing is that like I wonder subconsciously, is it the type of thing where you're like you had to cut yourself off because there was no other way. Like you tried and tried and tried. You may not even like realize it, but I feel like you just subconsciously were like, okay, this is it. Like I can't deal with this, so I'm not going to.
Okay, so I
Come
have to
through.
tell you, like I've never ever before, when I've done this, listened to anybody's music because I don't want that to contaminate how I see you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
about
for
that,
sure,
it's
for
about
sure.
you. But I have a feeling, and I could be totally wrong, but I think your words, even the ones you just spoke earlier, are all about your grieving what you had wished it would be.
Is this not the conversation we literally just had?
Really?
That is crazy.
The grieving.
Yes, because it's
Yeah.
like it's the hope and the ideal of what you wish that relationship would be. But as you let it go, do you realize what you're giving to other people who are going through the same thing?
I hope that I'm giving a safe place. That's why I do this. I feel like
And a model and permission to let go of what doesn't work. And that doesn't mean, again, you can't have compassion, because if you're coming from compassion, you're healing yourself as well as offering somebody else an option to change.
definitely. I mean, like, I try to create a safe place for my fans to listen and feel their own feelings
Yeah.
and have someone that maybe they can say, oh, someone else in the world does understand me. And it's also, I think that,
But maybe that's where you put your feelings instead of tears.
yeah,
Oh.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
It makes a lot of sense. The not crying thing, I don't know what happened, because I used to cry.
Wow.
I used to cry, and around 12, 13, just dried up.
Did
And
something precipitate that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I've talked about it with my therapist,
Okay.
and we've tried to kind of unlock the ages of like 13 to 18, and there's just kind of a blank space there, and I don't know, it's really interesting, and there aren't many photos of me from between 13 and 18. There's a lot from baby to then, but it's a really strange thing. But it dried up, and I don't really understand why. I get choked up, I get really emotional, but tears don't fall. And I am so jealous of people who cry a lot.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Like, if you say that you still feel those emotions, like for me, like I kind of relate because I understand what that is to like. Sometimes I'm super emotional, and sometimes even me, like, who is, I feel like I can cry a lot. I just, even for me, sometimes I'm so like, no, like I feel so cold and numb to like what I feel that I think so I asked you, subconsciously, I think it's just like, unless you tell your brain, it's like, okay, it's time to cry. It's almost like, it's a release, right? So once you cry, you feel like you're like, which is why you're probably like, damn, like I really need to cry. You know?
I want to cry, and when I get emotional, I'm like, or overwhelmed, or frustrated, or angry, or whatever. I want to cry, and I can't.
But how do you get it out?
But,
Like,
but it's so vulnerable. It's such a different experience to actually cry, especially if you're a guy, especially if you're from Australia.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's different.
I mean, I don't know. I would love to like. I feel like there will come a day when things will all come to a head, and I'll start crying. I won't stop for like a full year. But
well, yeah, I'm like, maybe I'm like, I'll be there for you. At that point, I'm
know you
right
will.
there. I'll swim in the pool.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I mean, at the same time, though, I do think that like. I'm just relating it back to like my experiences, and again, this isn't like a parental thing for me, but it is like formative years in the sense of like being bullied or like things that happen to you that like numb you so much that I do think you just naturally cut off that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you can't, so it's like it's a strange thing because you want to feel these ways, but you just, for whatever reason, your brain's not letting you.
So you know about that whole dissociation and trauma and the fight, flight, fix stuff?
I know, I think, very surface level things.
Okay.
I don't know.
So when you have a trauma, like physiological trauma, sometimes your body will shut down. You can see people like on one of those shows that they've had terrible things happen and they're talking like they're reciting nothing even like poetry, just like words, right? There's no emotion because in a trauma, you dissociate. Your body dissociates so you don't feel pain physically, and your emotions dissociate so that you don't feel the trauma of what's going on because it's overwhelming and the organism can't handle it. So the trauma gets if you get dissociated in trauma, it never gets completed, right? So when you protect yourself in that moment, either by fighting, because you kick in some adrenaline and you do something during a trauma, that's one way to handle it. Some people do that. Some people do more like a flight, which is stepping away from it and shutting down because that feels
I left the
safer.
country. I went to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
I literally flew.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, is this the world? I might be on the moon. I'm like somewhere else.
Right, so that gets locked a little bit, and
Yeah.
it's like a challenge to open it up and give it a chance to have breathing and space, and then resolve it in that way. But you could totally do that.
I hope that I can do that. I would like to do that. I feel like I would. I don't know.
By the way, you'll only cry for 10 minutes. It's a physiological impossibility to cry for longer than that in a sustained way.
No.
Yeah. You can cry and then stop, and then cry and then stop. But if you're really crying, 10 minutes at tops.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
these
nice to know.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Try it sometime. Like, try
Wait,
it.
should I
Feel
now?
like, now I'm bored.
No. I was telling Sam that what were you gonna say?
No, go on.
I was saying that well, like when I used to do acting classes, they had like a technique where basically if you feel physical pain, like let's say you feel like minimal physical pain, you start to like warm up to the experience. So if I were to be like, I'm not gonna do it.
Do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because it's like intense. I feel
Okay.
like. But maybe, I mean, I don't know.
We're on the green room.
But we were on the green room. But basically, like, I would press down and I would be like, this is just an acting technique. But you'd be like, okay, tell me like the worst thing that your dad did to you, and you'd say it, and then you'd press harder and be like, how did that make you feel?
Oh.
And then you press harder, and so that's what you would do to trigger the pain when you're trying to cry on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I'm kind of scared to do it to you because what if you do
it.
cry?
Don't do it.
But it does really work because basically you're building it up to be like, and so you I guess you put the physical pain, like obviously it hurts, but because it's like triggering these thoughts in your mind, then it just makes you like explode to cry. So I used to do it on like music videos and stuff too that had to be emotional and stuff.
Wow.
Like, so you just like have like a thing, like you could kind of just do anything, but you knew how to like turn it on.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. So old school
Is that
therapy.
I don't know if that's.
We used to do something like that once upon a
Okay.
time where you'd put a person like laying face down, and then they would exhale while you press on their back.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end of that, they're supposed to make a sound. Almost universally, the person starts crying. Like, it's the weirdest thing. But what's really trippy is that it's not just pain. It's whatever feeling you repressed. So, like, one time I did it. One time in all the years I practiced, I did it with somebody who started laughing hysterically because she had
I could see
repressed all of her happiness. happiness because a terrible thing had happened to her when she was happy. So she shut it down. She couldn't laugh anymore. So it was the same kind of thing, but it's just a feeling, but it gets stuck. It's like literally locked in, and you can release it in that way, and it starts to dissipate.
Well, that's an
But again, you do it already with your music too. I can hear it in your voice.
That's the release.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's cool. Which
really
is
can
why
hear it.
it's so resonates with everybody else.
Thank you.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. I think pain is such a massive part of making music. I feel like
Totally.
I hate to say that. It's like, okay, you have to be in pain to do good music, but I feel like
You have to have something to say.
Like,
You
what
have
does
to
it
have a
say about
message.
us? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe I get all of my emotion, I guess, out in my music. But I don't know. The disassociation part is very real for me because I think it's as I said, self-preservation.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
protecting myself from. But at the same time, I think it's gotten to a point where now I can't get like wholly excited about anything. Like,
Right,
I
because
can't
it's like
let
putting
go.
gloves on. You
I
can't feel anything.
Exactly.
I
And,
might go. Oh, go
Sam,
ahead.
I'm curious though. So you get this text from your dad. That's Sammy. I heard you on the radio. Must be doing well.
Yeah.
What is your reaction and what is your response? Because there's a kind of guilt associated with a text like that,
Like
right?
emotional
100%.
reaction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is
100%.
the
That's
the
interesting.
gut feeling when
What's
you
the gut
see?
feeling?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like my gut feeling was like, oh, this dickhead.
Oh yeah.
Like it's very much like.
Mad, anger.
It's like just an icky feeling.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like get away.
I don't know, this man is, I don't know this person anymore. It's
Right.
a very
And he
weird
doesn't know
thing.
you.
And he doesn't know you.
And he doesn't know me. And he hasn't made an effort to know me. And I don't know. I feel like I know all relationships are two-way streets. But with
But
this
is that
one,
true with
No,
parents?
child.
Wait,
Oh.
guys. This is a good time.
it's supposed
Guys,
to be a pencil.
I'm going live for like 5
Go live.
minutes.
Let's do it.
I want, but wait, we're talking about that subject 'cause that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with parents, is that a responsibility children should hold? To
Right.
maintain a relationship?
I mean,
No, it just
society
sounds
says no.
Green room.
Society says no what? That they
Says
don't
it
have to
should-
hold it?
No,
Guys,
no,
we're
that
releasing
they
this
have
episode
to.
later,
Yeah.
but
It used
you're gonna
to.
be live.
Right.
You
But
can
not
keep
so
this
much
combo
anymore
for a
because
second.
it's not the relationship that's
Let's see
the
if you can
priority.
see.
It's more like the parent's supposed to be feeding the child, handing the baton one more lap so that child continues to grow. And most parents, even not so great ones, don't want their children to recreate their mistakes. They want them to learn from them.
Right.
So, they sort of step back, the child steps forward, and evolution happens. Right?
Wow.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But he wasn't able to do that in a way that
He stepped
worked for
out.
you, except that part of why you can do what you do now is because you didn't get that normal thing,
Totally.
which is crazy.
Which is crazy. I think. Hi guys.
cool.
So yeah, Sam's here. Sorry, we're talking about how basically, like our experiences growing up with our parents. Our formative years really say a lot.
They
for
shape
all of
us.
They shape us. Exactly.
Who we are.
And so Sam is basically telling us all about his experience. So I just wanted to, go live for like 5 minutes so you guys can hear us talk.
Just
about
have a
some stuff.
light.
Have a light talk on a Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday.
It's not
It's
next
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's
Okay, I don't know
definitely
what day it is.
Wednesday.
I don't know what day it is.
That's
But
all right.
anyway,
That's
we're going to
fine.
be releasing this episode later, but I'll let you guys in for like 5 minutes and we can just,
Yeah.
But anyway, Sam,
I mean,
continue.
something that makes me really happy is seeing siblings that have an amazing relationship with each other. Like my wife is best friends with her brothers and sisters. It's amazing. And her parents are awesome. Like it makes me so happy to be in the presence of a loving
Yes.
family. My mum did the best she could.
Yes.
She is an incredible person. I feel like I get all of my good qualities from her. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, as the person I am, I'm glad I don't resent people for having great families.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your mom, how do you feel that she handled it in terms of your relationship?
She did the
with your
best she
dad?
could. She did the best she could. She's always encouraged me and my brothers to have a relationship with my dad. She's never deterred us. It's never been, regardless.
Do your brothers have a relationship with him?
No.
No.
How many siblings do you have?
2, older and younger, middle
And
child.
it's all the same. That's actually a really good question, actually.
It's the same only in that none of us really communicate with my dad anymore.
Got
He, the busiest woman in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, getting a phone call. It's
Guys, oh my God. Continue.
It's my brothers. They're great. I mean, like, our relationship was kind of strained because of everything that happened. I came to America. My little brother went to Germany. Older brother stayed in Australia. Dad went to Canada. It's trauma. That right there, what I just did, traumatic.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
But it's, you know, my mom did the best she could with what she was dealt. I think she's been through a lot.
Right.
And, you know, my parents were together for 33 years.
Wow.
They got engaged after 6 weeks together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, like, when things calmed down, when I had emotionally gotten past the, like, initial shock of, like, my parents are splitting up, my parents are human, what the hell? I was kind of like, you know what? They had a good innings, which, like, Australians say when it comes to, like...
Had a good innings?
Yeah, it's like a sport reference. It's like cricket.
It's like baseball.
So do
It's
you...
like baseball, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like they had a good go of it. They had a good run. 33 years is a really long time to be with someone.
Well, I mean,
But-
the thing is that, like, it's so interesting that your dad is the way that he was with you, given that there's 3 kids. So I feel like, you know, he wanted to have kids, clearly, right? Or was it just a mistake 3 times?
I think that, and this will sound brutal, but
No, yeah.
I think that my dad wanted kids until he had kids.
He didn't realize the responsibility associated with
Or
parenting.
he didn't feel like he was up for it or up to the
Right.
task. Again,
Yeah.
because he probably feels really crappy about himself. I mean, people who feel good about themselves don't do that. They don't shame their children. They want to support them. They want to do that stuff. So you're just he's looking in some way in a mirror every time he says something dark.
Totally. And look, his parents, I don't know his parents. I
I was going to ask you about that.
I call them his parents because instead of my grandparents because I never met them.
Yeah. It's probably
They
not
were
surprising, right?
they were Holocaust survivors.
Wow.
And I think were kind of against my dad. Like, you know, we're not a religious family by any means. I think they're against my dad marrying someone who wasn't religiously Jewish.
So he
and
got judged big
I
time.
think, oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the culture of shame goes way back.
Yes.
And so I think about that and I'm like, well, I can't blame my dad for being who he is, but then I think about myself and I'm like, well, I look at the things that my dad has done and I go, I don't want to repeat that. And every time I feel myself saying, we were talking about this,
Yes.
every time I feel myself saying something in a way that he might have said it, or if I hear my voice, my speaking voice recorded and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like my dad. Or if you know.
Actually, I'm
or
going to jump off now. That was a good preview, but...
or if like I feel myself, I don't know, when I'm in a fight with my wife, saying something or acting a way that I think my dad might have acted, it gives me like the ick like none
Yes.
other. I get disgusted by myself.
Yeah.
So I hope that when me and my wife eventually have kids, that I won't turn into my dad and I'll recognize.
Oh.
You're already light years beyond him. There's no way.
I mean, exactly.
Well, you're self-aware.
100%. You're
Yeah.
self-aware.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Painfully
choice, too.
self-aware.
You're not going to choose to do that. You've already chosen not to.
It's a
Like,
choice, for
The
sure.
finish line's behind you in that way. You
Sure.
know?
There you go.
And you know what else? You love.
do
Like
love.
part of what we're talking about, that self-criticism, that voice that he has, he does not love himself.
Right.
You do.
I do love myself. That's
Yes,
right.
and that's healthy.
Do you? Be
Yeah.
honest.
I think that I'm pretty dope.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, that's exactly right.
I mean, look, like I have fought really hard. I fought really hard to like be who I am, and I'm still like now unraveling the kind of like shame ropes that have been around me, and I think I'm cool. I think I'm like a nice person.
I do too. I agree.
Why did you just pause? Why did you just pause? You go.
Top
I think
copy.
I'm like, no, I'm curious. Do you like being on, like you're being fully honest, and I honestly genuinely love that for you. But like, do you really in your core?
I think
feel
that
like
there are
that?
lots of things that I have to work on, but
Right,
I
like
think
everyone.
the core of my being is a good person, and I'm not perfect by any means. I hold grudges.
Who's perfect?
Exactly. No one's
I am.
perfect.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jenna.
I'm kidding.
you
Obviously,
know,
I'm kidding. I'm the first.
there are lots of things that I can pick out about myself that I don't like, but overall, I think I'm a good person.
And you know, yeah. Go ahead.
And so you love you, and guess what happens next? It makes it logical and natural to love others.
Yeah.
If you don't love
I'm
you, you
capable
don't
of
do
love.
the opposite.
Yeah.
You can't do it the other way around.
Right.
Wait, that's really interesting. I mean, well, I know that that's definitely something that is very relevant in relationships. It's like you can't truly love someone unless you love yourself.
Exactly.
But
RuPaul,
what?
how you gonna love yourself till you love
Oh
somebody
yeah,
else?
yeah. But it's like, but it's interesting because I feel like there's different levels to love.
Okay. Like what?
And well, I think that like you can on paper say like you could be like I am a good person. I know I'm a good person. I have good intentions, and I love parts about me, but you can still feel like you don't love a lot of parts. So it's like, because I could sit here and if I were to really think like, okay, yeah, I think I'm good at this, or I think that I'm good to people, or I think I'm like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I can still go home being like, I hate myself. Does that make sense? So I feel like, but it doesn't mean that I hate everything about me.
No, I know. It just means that it's a work in progress.
Okay, just,
Come on,
can I just say,
whole
every
speaker.
time we start to talk about something that's very serious, and it's actually the universe. I'm not kidding you. Like every time we say something that I feel like the universe doesn't want us to feel, there's a loud noise that passes. So I'm like, okay,
That's so
the universe
funny.
has got us. But you know
So,
what I mean?
okay, so if you just
Yeah.
separate that piece out into loving who you are unconditionally
Yeah.
and letting that be sufficient, and then you can like make changes and have issues about what you do or what you say or how you behave that you can correct or adjust or take yourself to task for all day long. Like that's completely legit because that's how you grow and that's how you improve. And you got to do that or else you won't feel very good about yourself as a person.
Exactly.
But you got to start with that fundamental, like right now in my own flawed self, I am doing the best I can. Some days my best is better than others, but that's okay. And it's okay, and you're okay, and it changes everything because it's inside out.
Do you think that like with your parents, if you have like an amazing upbringing and all your parents, nobody does everything right, but if you had a general like better upbringing, do you think that like really sometimes I don't think that necessarily means you're going to go into adulthood.
No, because it's
what-
not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you.
Right.
So, you get a lot of great stuff, and instead of feeling grateful and gracious about it, you feel entitled, or you
Right.
kinda, there's all sorts of stuff. Like there's weird ways you can handle stuff that doesn't necessarily wind up being good for you.
So it's almost like sometimes I think, not to say anything's right or wrong, but even like, you going through this, as hurtful as it is, and as much as you wish it wasn't, it's like there was a reason, and you wouldn't be here and who you are today without that in a weird way, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
like, would you feel you may be able to cry, but you may not be Sam Fischer with all this stuff, like, you know what I mean? You may not be like the like being able to emote the way that you can in your music. Like, I'm just saying that it's weird, but that's the way I think. I don't know. I mean, definitely I'm more esoteric than like I guess the way that like somebody would
More
think
like
clinically
things
or,
happen
like,
for a
real.
reason.
But I do think that way.
No, I believe you.
You
and
do?
I think, yes, 100%, which is what we were talking about. Like, part of what happened with him, the difficulties that he experienced are going to be things that he can do something else for somebody else about, because
Right.
if you don't put that out there, if you don't move through it, what do you have to give? How do you learn? You got to grow. Him doing his sharing in this way, through his music, gives other people an opportunity to go, oh my God, other people have this happen to them too. So they feel like embraced by it, and they have permission to do the same kind of growing. Like, you're giving a gift to the world as you love you and heal.
What I am very aware of is that my situation is not a unique situation.
No, of course
Right.
not.
No.
It's shared by millions of people around the
Right.
world.
I would say most people.
Most
Maybe
people.
not to that extent, but
50% of marriages end in
Families
divorce,
are really
all that.
tough.
Yeah.
Families are
No
really
matter
tough.
what, they're tough.
yeah.
They're really tough. And so I don't know, I got very lucky to be given a platform to be able to say, I don't know, to be able to tell my story.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when people message me saying thank you for this song, and I relate to it, and it's made me feel okay.
Does that tender feeling almost make you want to cry?
Of people messaging me that?
Yes, or just the tender, not the sad, but that like that sweet.
It's definitely tender. It's I know crying is something that I haven't been able to do for such a long time.
Yeah, no,
but
I'm not suggesting you have to.
No. It's becoming. It's kind of like. I feel like if all of a sudden I welled up and started crying, I would be like, "What is happening to me?"
Yeah.
Be like
Right.
someone experiencing rain for the first time.
Like quite literally.
Like quite literally,
Exactly.
be like, "What the hell is this?"
You're like, wait, umbrella?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think that my journey has
So maybe you're
been
more afraid.
different. Am I what afraid
You're more
of?
afraid. Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're
more.
fine.
You're more afraid to cry, even because on top of why you initially stopped crying, but now you're actually afraid to do it because it's so unfamiliar.
I'm at this point only
out
afraid
of
to cry
practice.
because whatever is gonna make me cry is gonna be real rough.
Or not.
Or sweet.
Or
That's where I was
sweet.
going.
Or sweet.
Or
true.
not. You know what I mean?
Oh, sweet. I mean, yeah,
Wait, okay, so for example, I know this is off topic, but like when you win a Grammy, will you cry?
will I cry when I win a Grammy?
Do you think that there's a chance that could happen? I mean, this could take
Sure.
on a lot of emotions.
Let's
because
say
imagine-
yeah. Let's manifest.
Let's
a
manifest
huge
Sam crying when
crybaby
he
on
wins
stage.
the Grammy, okay?
Yeah, but
You
see,
heard it first.
But it's not.
Here,
it's
here on the
it's
green
the opposite,
The
right?
green room.
That's the difference between that like tender, sweet space and the loss. You're not going to feel a loss if you win a Grammy. You're going to feel like blessed and amazing, and that's emotionally in the same place as tears. I mean, cry at a wedding, cry at a funeral. It's one, it's the same
Although
thing.
But then will there be guilt?
But
Exactly.
Because you feel guilty
Exactly.
that someone else didn't get the award that you've just received.
I would more feel guilty celebrating myself
Good.
really hard. Good.
It's good.
You would not feel guilty,
No,
right?
I would.
Oh,
feel
you would feel
guilty.
guilty. No,
That's what
no,
it.
I
That's
take
what
it
it
back.
is. It would be more like. Look, if I was to win a Grammy, it would be outrageous. Like I was nominated for an aria, which is the Australian Grammys.
Wow.
And it was the biggest thing in my life. It was like a totally shocking feeling to be nominated. But it was in the middle of a pandemic, and so I was sitting there, and bless my stylist, Chris. He brought me a very nice Gucci suit, and I was sitting there in this Gucci suit. It was 2:30 in the morning in my apartment in North Hollywood. I was on Zoom, and it was just a strange feeling. It was like I am a little sad right now, and I should be celebrating this so hard. And so there was this like point of guilt where the two met. And it
Wait,
was
like you didn't appreciate this
Like I
moment.
feel guilty for not appreciating this moment and how hard I've worked getting to this moment and being nominated and doing what I've done throughout a pandemic.
Right.
But then it was like, I don't know, it's like the intersection of like, how guilty can I feel for having success when there are so many people around the world struggling really hard.
But your
And-
success takes nothing away from anybody else. It shows other people how to
Right.
do it too.
We love that.
Right?
We love
There's
that.
what do they say? There's more than enough grains on of sand on the beach for everyone. Like it's an abundance kind of theory. The more you glow and shine and do, the more you inspire others to do the same. It's all positive.
Which is why we do this.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because this is not to say like me wanting to do a mental health podcast by any means that I like feel like I have my shit together, because if anything I have nothing together, but I'm here to be very honest to people so they understand they're not alone. Because I think at the end of the day, when I say that or you say that, your fans are going to be like, wow, like if he feels this, my hero, then obviously I'm not so weird for feeling that.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Validating
And
feelings.
It's validating.
Yeah.
As a kid, I know for me, like we didn't have as much access to the artists that we loved, right?
Right.
So now today we have the opportunity to actually connect with those artists that we look up to and want to be someday.
Yes.
So instead of giving them a fake like impression of what it really is, the fact that it can be real is actually, I think, probably more useful for them, right?
Yes,
Because to
totally.
be like, oh, look at me, I'm great, look at me pose, look at this song, I'm great, like whatever. It's like nobody wants that feel
not
like that.
real.
It's not real. So how is that actually something that they can be? For you
Right.
to say this,
Totally.
you right? It's like,
Totally.
that's
But
not realistic.
that's the other thing though, like throughout the pandemic when we're all struggling, as an artist that was breaking and had success,
Right.
my social persona was celebrating life and
Right,
being
right.
grateful for everything and like shining and whatever. And it was this really rough dissonance of reality versus Instagram. And
Yeah.
it just kind of, that messed with me as well,
Right.
because, I would get on these lives on Instagram and I'm very, very honest with my fans, and they're very honest back to me.
Right.
But they tell me how they feel, bless them, love them.
Why don't we get them on?
Yeah, we can, we'll go live.
We'll
but
go live.
it's
Let's
just,
get them on, Sam. Come on.
let's see if any are awake.
Let's. Oh my God, are they a lot? Do you have a lot of fans in Australia?
So no, I've never been while all of this is happening. I
Okay,
haven't
well,
experienced it.
Wow.
Let's bring them on for a couple minutes and just tell them, what we're doing here today.
We'll just let them in.
I'm just trying. Let them in.
Let them in.
We'll let them
Let's
in.
just let them in the green room. I'm a marketing wizard, y'all.
Wait, wait, today, me and Sam, what's our thing? We jump.
We
go.
jump. We jump?
That's our
What do
jump.
you mean we
That's our-
jump?
We jump.
We jump. We step in.
We step in.
It's like into the blue by into the green.
To the green.
Okay,
You
so
know what I mean?
tell them
Into the
what
green.
we're doing today.
Hi guys, this is Jenna Andrews.
Hi. I made Sam go live.
This is Lynn.
Hi.
This is Hannah.
Oh,
I'm
oh
forgetting
wait, I was confused
your
for a
name,
second.
but what's your name, mate? Mike. That's Mike. Hi guys, we are on the green room. We are talking relationships with our family. We are talking self-love. We are talking celebrating ourselves. Oh, it's Drax Project. Hi
Me too?
guys. Drax Project. It said hi, Jenna.
Oh, hi.
Oh gosh, she said, I don't know you guys. I know you and I love you. But hey, we're just gonna let you in. We're just having a chat about mental health and
Yeah.
the way that your relationship with your family affects you growing up. My friend Ryan, he's one of my main collaborators.
amazing.
He's incredible. He is, I've never met someone who enjoys being a dad more than Ryan. And
100%.
I'm
glad you brought this up.
it's amazing
Yeah.
because we were talking about it, and he was saying that he has such an amazing relationship with his parents, and he's excited to model his parenting after them. And I was like,
Wow.
what's that like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that if anyone out there, if you guys are if you guys have that relationship with your parents, I'm so jealous, and I love that for you. I think my mum has taught me so many lessons, but I just think experiencing a relationship like that fall apart is, it stays with you and it changes you.
Sure.
And I was in England when it all happened, and I wasn't able to go home because I couldn't afford to go home.
yeah.
And my mum, bless her, she said to me, so I was begging her, please fly me home. And
During the quarantine.
no,
Oh,
when everything went down, when my parents' relationship fell apart.
Okay, I thought you meant, okay.
When that happened, I was in the UK and I was begging my mum to fly me home, and she wouldn't because she said, if you come home, you will resent me.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I was so mad.
Sure.
I was so angry. And I understand now that she did a really great thing for me because I had an amazing year in England. But it was,
Well, she was being your mom.
You got traumatized.
she was being my mum.
She's being
She
your
was
mom,
being my
protecting you.
She was protecting
Which is
me.
what he said, what a parent should
Yes.
be doing if you're a
Yes.
parent,
But
right?
again,
It's
and she
like-
was doing a great thing, but see how that trauma got stuck? It didn't get completed. You didn't get to process it in that moment when it was happening, which is, it's so interesting that when you talked about what you were feeling that night when you were all dressed up in your own little room in North Hollywood, you said you were shocked. Same thing. You see, it's like a shutdown. That's the stuckness. So if you kind of move through that and go like, yeah, it's kind of weird and it's kind of strange and it's kind of cool and it's all
Yeah.
sorts of things and they're all real and they're all valid and you feel through them all, you get to a different place.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think it's just listening to what I'm feeling.
Yes, yes, and making sure that the
Understanding
only,
what I'm
honestly, the only thing I hear that you even need to do, even a teeny weeny bit, is if you get that self-critical voice in your head, which is what they call the introjected parent, you kick it out. That's the
Kick
part
it
of your
out.
dad you don't ever want to talk to again.
Someone said it can be hard with parents because when you surpass the issue, you look back and think about how they had their best interests at heart, but at the same time, it can still hurt.
Yes.
Thank you, Kingsy.
Oh, see, here's the thing. I know from my parents, like, it's definitely that case because I know there's certain things that, like, my mom has done, when I was a kid, and she's like, she'll still feel bad for it today. And be like, are you still mad at me for, like, it's so funny. Like she'll literally call and be like, "Are you mad at me for like 10 years ago when this happened?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, but at the same time, she cares. At the end
Right.
of the day, that's what you would want the most from your parent, right? The fact that they actually will think about it and care and take it into their everyday life, and that's like, you know,
That's being a parent.
that's being a parent.
A good parent.
Being a good parent. A good parent.
A good parent.
But man, it must be so hard to
Yeah.
be a parent. It
must
must
be
be
so-
so hard.
Does anybody
Shout out,
parents?
shout out to all the parents.
All
Who
the
are the
good
parents
parents.
here?
I mean, here's the thing. Can I tell that you're fans something? So I didn't mention this in the flyer, but every episode we give away a free guitar. And
What?
So sorry, Sam, not for you.
Okay.
So
End live.
we give a guitar by Taylor Guitars, and all the proceeds go back to Jet Foundation.
I love it.
So I'll put something on my Instagram the next couple days where you'll have like a code word, and you'll be able to answer it, and Sam will sign the guitar, and it will be shipped to one of his lovely fans.
Come on.
Yes.
Oh look, hi from Sydney, Australia. Hi Lilla. Hopefully it's Lilla. Josh, you can win a free guitar, mate.
Yeah, free guitar.
Sean, this is your sign to get a guitar.
Yes. Anyway, so
Come to Fort Worth, Texas on tour, guys.
that was fun. I think this is great.
That was great, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Is it on the
so
green
yeah,
room?
so I'll put it on my Instagram, and obviously Sam, if you can repost it, and we'll put a code that that will be a secret code that you guys will have to answer.
Here, this
we can make the
is
code now. We can also make it up
what?
now.
Well, your Instagram is
So, it's TheJennaAndrews.
TheJennaAndrews here.
Actually, let's not do the code now because normally we're live, and I want everyone to have the opportunity. So we'll just put it on Instagram, and we'll make up a code and give them the opportunity to win.
How do I
It will
pin
be
comment?
great.
There you go. You
Okay.
pinned.
There we go.
I've
All right.
pinned Jenna's Instagram. Go forth, follow her. She's incredible. She wrote "Butter" by BTS. Ever heard of it?
Oh God.
But thank you guys for hanging out. I'll talk to you very soon.
Talk to you
Lots
later.
coming.
Yes.
Lots coming. Bye. Love it.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention that, but we give away free guitar as
That's
you
so
knew
cool.
last time. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
you'll be signing a Taylor guitar. I hope you
Come
don't mind.
through, Taylor.
Anyway, I know we've been going for a while, so I think obviously, Sam, I really appreciate having you. I think it's amazing.
I appreciate you having me on.
And honestly, I think that this does mean a lot to people. You know what I mean? And I know that it's not saying, hey, your pain, is supposed to be something that like you have to have so other people can feel better. But honestly, we do it for that.
Why
though.
go through your pain alone? I'd rather share it.
Actually, you know what? I will say something though. Yesterday, I went when you guys were talking. I had thought of saying one of your clients when I was meeting with them. She actually made a really good point, saying that she's like, somebody once told me that like maybe you were here and you're supposed to be unhappy for your whole life to give other people happiness, and maybe that's your purpose. And I was literally like, that feels like it's me. I was like, and I don't know. So I'm just saying that like.
How about both? You can
How about
give me
both?
and give other people your
I know it is crazy, but again, listen, at the end of the day, these things aren't supposed to, they are sad and they sound sad, but they're also, it's okay to like just say how you feel. And you know
bring
what I mean?
people
It's like-
joy.
I try to.
Think about Butter. Honestly, the
Yes.
song. It makes people dance. It makes people feel
Makes
good.
me dance.
Does
I
it?
can't
Let's
stop
see you
dancing.
dance.
No, absolutely not.
I can't dance, so no, but you know what I mean. You were saying that because I think at some point you mentioned that you were like, didn't you say something? You said something to the effect of like,
Probably profound and like deeply insightful.
exactly, of course it was, but it was something to the extent of you saying that like you had to like you had less happiness to be able to give happiness. You said something like that with your dad, like he took away some of your happiness, but now I feel like you're giving other people joy through your music. That's what you said.
I hope I am.
So.
Well, also you can't
Listen
control
to
your
me.
family.
Joy.
You can't control your family or your upbringing, but you can control what you're putting out into the world.
And what your
Totally.
reaction to all that
Yes.
stuff
Yeah.
is, which is what you're doing.
Yes.
Right.
Both ways, the world and
Completely.
yourself.
I also feel like, love my mum. She's the best. But I
Right.
do feel like I have a chosen family out here.
Yeah, very good.
My friends and like people
I
that I
love
can
you.
lean on. I love you too. Come on, girl.
Come on, girl. No, I felt like, no, but Sam actually helped
We're
me make like.
insufferable.
Sam, we're inside. We literally hang out every day, and also we
yeah.
he helped me make like a branding like walk-in for the green room. So you'll be seeing that in the future.
Every
it's a little
episode.
jump and a little hop. So maybe we'll do a lesson. I'll teach you Hannah the dance. But Sam, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
I love
Thank
you
you
too.
for and guys.
Thank you
it's
for having
amazing.
me.
Thank you, Lynn.
you.
Oh, it's
so
so
been-
much. Such a pleasure.
It really is.
Amazing.
I
I hope you know truly here always that that's
I appreciate that so much.
And I will be, I'm going to be posting, like I said, the special code about something. We'll come up with something clever and you know, something to do with this episode. It will be a code, and if you get the right code, you will win a free guitar signed by Sam. And we'll be back in person, live. This is so great. We get to
It's so
hug
cool.
people.
I
We get to
know.
hug people. All right, cool.